So, hello and welcome to the Erica Glessing Show. This is Erica, and today I have with me Shefali Burns and Jessi Jordan, and we're going to keep exploring this whole breaking up with poverty concept that showed up just kind of as when I was getting through this book. It was pretty interesting. I was editing this book, and as I was reading through all the judgment people had on themselves and how it kept insidiously kind of jumping back in, and then I thought about my ex and that relationship and how he kept sort of, rearing that energy of that. And I was like, how do I just flip and break up? So Shefali, maybe just start us out here with sort of stream some stuff for us, because I know you said, like, as you've been sitting here waiting to be on the podcast, you're getting all this stuff. So just open us up, and then Jessi and I are going to keep peppering you with questions, and we'll just see what kind of magic might show up. Okay?
Oh, absolutely. So, I was thinking about this concept of ease with money and breaking up with poverty, and I realized I've never felt poor, right? So I've never been in that place, right? I've always had money, so it's like, okay, what does that mean? And so how come I have always had money? I've never worried about money, except I found myself, sometimes I spend a lot of money. So it's like, is that ease with money when you're spending a lot of money? And then I started asking questions. Well, why are you spending money? What does it bring you? What does it give you? And so with the ease with money, the poverty, breaking up with poverty, it's like, what does that give you? It's giving you something. That's why you still have it in your reality, right? So if you're feeling lack and scarcity, if you're feeling that poverty consciousness, there's something in your field, in your awareness, that is requiring it. So I always ask the question, okay, well, the first step is the awareness, right? So I'm having the awareness that I am having some poverty, lack consciousness, thoughts and feelings and emotions. Why? So sometimes why is not a great question. So it's a matter of, okay, I want to, it doesn't really matter why. Let's just shift it so that I can move forward. So the awareness is first, right? I have this awareness that I have these thoughts, feelings, emotions, this energy is coming up. What do I do with it, right? So we clear it, right? We clear it. And clearing is like an energetic thing, but it's also, the thoughts, feelings, emotions have to be cleared. And so, of course, we have the clearing statement, right? And we all use that, but it doesn't always have to be even that complicated, right? If we can just say, you know what, I'm choosing something else. I am clearing this. So clearing and choice and then action. Those are the four key concepts I wanted to share with everybody. It's about awareness, the clearing, because you have to clear the junk.
I have to interrupt you here because, well, first of all, I get paid to interrupt people.
Oh, I could talk on forever. So yeah, go ahead.
I know, and I love it. I think it's awesome. But as soon as you said that, I tuned into myself being an empath, and how much poverty consciousness have I just absorbed by being sensitive. And it's like fascinating to me because I grew up kind of in a really mixed up environment. So I grew up in like parts of Berkeley that weren't that nice, which is a city near San Francisco. And then I grew up in parts of Palo Alto that were super nice. And it's like I've had this sort of energy of poverty consciousness, but as soon as you started talking about it, I fully got this awareness of how much I'm a sensitive and how many things I've just sort of like absorbed. And Jessi, do you have anything to add to that? Because I was just shown like a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, I do find that there are times it's like an ebb and flow for me. And I grew up with a father who always worried about money and a mother who never worried about money. Even to this day, she never worries about money. It always comes to her. She doesn't work, yet she can always pay her credit card bill. She shops. Her closet is ridiculous. And so
I can feel that energy when you're saying it. It's like she has fun.
I have no idea how she pulls this off, except for when I'm in the flow, I do it too. And then I switch back and forth between my father's energy and my mother's energy. And it feels like, I feel like a crazy person sometimes.
So Jessi, what would it take for you to have more of your mother's energy where you're always in the flow?
That would be great, but I have the points of view of my father in terms of business and working hard and, putting in the effort, I sort of gravitate toward him when I get involved in business. Like I start out as my mother and then I gravitate towards my father.
So, you know, that again is a choice too, right? So you can choose to, you know, now that you have that awareness, you can choose to clear that and say, no, that doesn't feel good to me. So how does it feel, you know, to you? Truth, how does it feel to be more aligned with your father than with the other energy?
Very heavy and very and very, oh my God, I'm so tired right now.
Right, but you know what, Jessi? I also got a brilliance in business that you were attracted to. And it was kind of like with your mom, I got kind of more of a free-spirited, but I also got that sort of brilliant, that intelligence that you super also personify. So, Shefali, these are like mixed things because there's parts of the dad energy that are actually pretty sexy. They're just not like, the mom energy is very different, but it doesn't also fit you perfectly because you're more conscientious or something. It's not that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And that's why I do the whole pendulum swing. The extreme of him, the extreme of her, and I'm somewhere in the middle. For me,
is it possible for you to pick and choose the qualities that you like about your dad that work for you, that are, you know, in alignment with you, that fit your personality, right? And then appreciate those more, right? Appreciate those instead of judging them, right?
Yeah, I don't think I judge them. I honor the energy of my mother. I just I just swing to the other side and like.
Yeah, but what if it was easy?
Yeah.
Like, what if that was not wrong?
With the swinging?
No, the being ease.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think it's wrong at all. It's what I would prefer. Just like to catch myself before I go so far to the other side, I guess.
And that's the thing too. It's like, what if it's okay for you to even swing back and forth as you do? Because the more that you're aware of it, you'll be able to catch it sooner and sooner, and there'll be less resistance, right? So the more that you're okay with it, it'll lighten up as well, right? The charge will be less and less, and then you can choose. Okay, well, this is what I choose for today. What am I feeling today? What energy it wants to come through me? Like, what do I want to do with it today? You know, and then you just say, this is what I'm choosing for today. And then another day you could go and have fun. You know, go shopping, go fill up that closet because that's the energy that you're in that day, right? So you can.
Interesting that you bring it up. It's like I don't actually have the problem with it. It's someone else that I live with.
Interesting.
It's not even mine.
How fun is that? You know, what I'd like you to do, Jessi, if you wouldn't mind, because some of our listeners are actually pretty new to some of the tools of access consciousness, and some of my guests on the show will be bringing in the tools of access consciousness because I love these tools. Maybe just tell people when you just said, like, that doesn't belong to me, like people who are aware of that tool went, oh, bam, recognize it, change it. Can you just explain what that tool is for the newbies listening?
Who, me? Okay. Yeah, just a lot of us are more sensitive than we really want to admit. We're these little tiny radio receivers, if you will, and we're picking up vibrations and thoughts from everyone on the planet. And one of the ways you can really know if that's true, if you're really totally new to this work, is if you walk into a room, you can feel if somebody else is angry without them saying a word, without even seeing them. Their back could be turned to you, but you can feel the energy of that. You can pick up on that anger. And we can do that with not just feelings, but also thoughts. So sometimes we'll just be behaving based on thoughts we're picking up that we think are ours that are actually not.
I love it. And Shefali, how does this play into ease with money?
And, you know, this happens all the time because we pick up all of our thoughts, you know, from our parents, you know, from our neighbors around us, from society. We pick up all those thoughts and we think that they're ours, right? And then once you start to clear, you realize that I don't even feel that way. I don't even think like that. You know, it's like, that's not me. So you'll know right away whether it's something that is yours or is not yours. And it's about, does it feel light? Does it feel heavy? Does it resonate with you? So for me, it's about a feeling. Does it feel good? Does it feel expansive? You know, if it feels heavy and constrictive, it's probably not yours, right? And so it's like, that's when you just like, let it go. It's not mine. I don't choose to, you know, work with that energy, whatever it happens to be. Like, forget it. No, I'm going to choose something that's expansive and joyful and that feels good. And the more you are able to walk in that energy, you'll see that more and more in your life, and you'll have more and more ease. And that's what ease for me is, you know, whether it's ease with money or ease with life, is that Are you feeling expansive? Are you living a joyful life? Are you having fun? Right? Or are you like really being miserable? Then it's like, then you know. So ease with money is about, are you having fun with the money? Are you enjoying that it's coming in? Are you enjoying the saving of it? Are you enjoying the spending? You know, all of that comes with ease, right? And even some people won't even look at their bank books or bank statements or online, right? Because they're afraid of what they're going to see. You know, it's like, it's too little. Or some people, they think, why am I getting all this money? You know, I shouldn't be, because, you know, if they have that spiritual bent, you know, they don't think they deserve it. And that's a huge piece in our industry. I'm going to say the self-improvement, human potential industry. People still think that they don't deserve it because there are, you know, poor people everywhere, you know, in third world countries. It should be going to them, you know, but it's like, I don't, if you're okay with money, if you're okay with having fun, if you're okay with enjoying your life, that's what we're here for, is to enjoy life to the fullest.
Okay, Shefali. Right? Okay, I'm going to throw this at you because, so I was doing some of the processing Jessi was doing about like checking out my dad's beliefs and then my mom's beliefs and kind of like where the sweet spot of awareness is. And I got present to kind of a lot of lack of awareness on one of my parents' side. So I started going in and typing in all the things that I owe or all the little things I haven't done with my money that need to happen, like the PG&E bill and the braces for my daughter bill that's sitting there not feeling very compelling right now. And so my question to you is, where is the good feeling when it doesn't really look like a very pretty picture? It's like I've always been good at making money, but then this whole thing of like keeping an eye on it, like that whole thing doesn't actually feel really good to me. So how do I shift that energy when, you know, and again, like I said, I'm blessed, I'm good at making it, but I'm also like, you know, I spend it. I don't have I'm babbling. So interrupt that. Like, give me something here so I could like start getting into being okay with being aware and not feeling like bummed.
Well, when I'm looking at my bank account, not just for what's coming in, but for what I need to spend, I'm grateful that I get to have these services that I have, right? So when I'm paying a bill, it's like, oh my goodness, thank goodness I have all this money that I can have these cell phone bills, you know, for example. And in North America, the cell phone bills are crazy, right? So it's like hundreds of dollars per month. And it's like, but it brings me so much joy because I can talk to my kids. My kids can talk to me. I can communicate. So I'm grateful for that. So when I'm looking at that bill, it's like, yes, thank goodness I have that because I can communicate with the world. You know, I can communicate with like long distance overseas. So it's like when I'm looking at bills, like the hydro bill, I have heat in my house. I live in Canada. I am so thankful I have heat. Right? So when I'm looking at the bills, I'm thankful for them because of what they provide for me. Right, they're providing a service for me, so then I'm more than happy and willing to pay it, and that goes with and so that makes it a bit lighter, right? And then I always ask, okay, so what would it take for this money to come back to me 10 times, you know, or 100 times or more, right? And make that as expansive as you can. So when you're paying your bills, it's important to be in that space of expansiveness at the time instead of constricting, you know, because the more expanded you are, the easier it will flow. You won't be feeling that lack and scarcity if you're in an expanded state. So some of the things we do, you know, like barriers down, and just expanding out. So that's when you're expanded out as big as, you know, your house or the city or whatever, those feelings of lack and scarcity are not going to show up as much because you're going to see the bigger picture, right? And you're going to feel that more expansive energy. And so when you're paying your bills, when you're going to go look at your bank statements, be in that expansive state first.
There was something that you said earlier about saving, and I just felt all this heavy energy from like across the world. Like people, there's such a lack energy that comes with saving, and the way I like to think, I don't save, but I like to collect money. That is exciting to me. Collect it and I keep it. And I think maybe if people did look at it a little differently, because saving has a connotation that you're saving for a rainy day,
exactly,
a disaster, or that you're sacrificing and denying yourself now for some later event. And maybe you could speak a bit about that to help people.
Well, I like the collecting aspect.
Shefali,
Go ahead.
I want to just take this a little step further because I really liked her point. And on another cast, I was asked what it would feel like to have a certain amount of money, but not so I could spend it. It was just so I could like have it. And what is it in our, like, what is it that you see as some of the things our listeners maybe could unblock or release around that, like what Jessi was saying, collecting, and my other guest was saying like having. And what are some of the things that you see kind of like blocking that from showing up with ease?
Well, you know, a lot of times when people are thinking about having money or having a bunch of money in their bank account, it's like they're taking away from somebody else, right? So if I have, other people don't, right? And so when I look at me having money in my bank accounts, several bank accounts, and all over the house, I find money everywhere. Like I have like all this money right here, you know, just sitting, you know, and it gives me a sense of freedom to know that I have money if I want to spend it on something. I have money if I suddenly have, you know, I want to go on a trip. I have it, you know, so it doesn't mean I'm going to spend it. I'm not saving it for a rainy day. And having it for me is, it comes down to deserving, right? So am I not worthy enough to have it? Yes, I am. So everywhere, you know, that you have felt that you were not worthy enough, that you didn't deserve to have it, or that you are taking money away from other people by having more than other people, are you willing to let that go now?
Yes.
You know, so God, that was quick. Oh my goodness.
Well, I immediately, what I tuned into was my parenting energy, and that's basically when my whole finances just went to the gutter, is when I chose to be a mom, and I went into all this stuff of what that means. And I can't work because I want to be home, but if I'm home, I'm not working, I'm not making money. And then also, if I have $50, do I get my daughter a new, well, her hockey sticks are like $200, but do I, you know, do I get her skates? Do I pay for this? Or do you see it's like that feeling of not enough has sort of been, wow, you know, and it's funny because I really thought I'd kick this issue, and the more you bring up, the more stuff is kind of showing up, but I can still clean.
Well, yeah, and that's about, you know, creating, you know, so where can I add more fun in my life, right? Where can I add more ease in my life? Where can I add more opportunities where more of the money is going to flow in, right? So that you can buy that $200 hockey stick if that's what your daughter needs, right? So it's about it's not about restricting yourself and saving and sacrificing. It's like, what more can I add to my life so that I can bring more in? So I'm all about adding more. I don't sacrifice anything. I don't give up anything. It's like, okay, this is what I want.
Yeah, great kids going to your kids are awesome and they're in college, right? Or
yeah, you know, so it's like they, you know, when they were younger though, and if they wanted something that was like, I don't know, a Nintendo or like, I can't remember those things, I would say, well, you know, you pay half, I pay half. I have no problem with that. You know, if it's books, I bought lots of books. Yeah, you can have every book you want. And so now my house is like, oh my God, filled to the rafters with books. But I wanted them to see that some of the things I would more than happy to pay for 100%. Other stuff, you got to pay your share, you know? So it's like making them accountable. It's like, if you want this, fine, you pay for half. And so that wasn't me sacrificing. That wasn't me saying, well, I want to keep more of my money, so I'm going to make them pay. No, not at all. I would have paid the whole thing. I don't care. Because I was a very giving mom. I did everything for my kids, right? But it's about, you know, them noticing that when they want something, they can have it as well. And, you know, they're responsible for it too. They're responsible for creating their life. So if they would like to create that in their life, what are you willing to do for it, right? So all of it comes down to choice and creation. I mean, I'm all about creating, just like you, right? So if I want more money in my life, what am I going to create? You know?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
I'm also of the school of what can I add to my life? And then I find I'm adding so many things that I sort of started buying into this idea that I could be spread too thin. you know, that there's like not enough hours in the day to attend to every single business and project that I've now started. And now I'm like, I'm tired.
But yeah, but does everything want your attention every day and every moment? Right?
I believe it does, but that's probably not really the case.
Well, ask the project, you know, do you require my attention and energy today? Right? And so it's because everything has its own energy, right? And it's always in the flow as well. So when we're forcing our energy on it, saying, "Oh, I have to do this today, no matter what," you know, you're not in alignment with the energy, right? And that entity.
I never do that. I never do that, Shefali. I never do that. I never say I have to do this today.
Me neither, unless it's like really timely. No, it's about feeling the energy of it. Like, what wants to express itself today? You know, which idea or project wants to manifest and create today? Like, where is its energy? So talking to it and asking, what do you want today? Like, do you want to play today, or do you want to just take it easy? You know, does that make sense?
It does, but the thing is that I do ask, and then I go away, and then I worry, you know, that me going away means that I'm in some way dropping the balls, and I feel like I have to keep the plate spinning.
So you're trying to be a control person.
Oh, yeah. Complete control.
You know, and we are all recovering control freaks. You know, I'll admit it, I'm a recovering control freak. So, you know, everywhere that you have tried to control your life and your businesses, are you willing to let that go so that the energy can be more expansive and contribute to you?
I'm glad that you finished the sentence, because I would have said no halfway through. Are you willing to let that go? No, but so that it can grow and contribute. Okay, yes.
Okay, whew, good. Wow, wonderful.
There are a lot of control freaks on the call.
There are, yeah, and that's a really heavy energy, because we're not really following the energy, right? We're not really following and asking questions as much as we would like, and even that, as I say it, is really heavy. So it's like, it's about always being in the question. And Gary and Dane say this all the time, but do we do it? Right? Are we doing it? Are we asking questions, or are we getting into the resistance, and are we getting into our head and trying to figure stuff out?
Yeah.
Right? So everywhere we've been trying to do that, figure stuff out. Oh my goodness. Are you willing to let that go now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's funny you brought that up, Jessi, because I didn't create the Erica Glessing Show for a really long time. Like, it had sort of been percolating since 2013, and I was given a show at that time that I built that flopped. And so I was like, okay, cool. You know, that flopped. Okay, what was wrong? What did I do wrong? And every time the show wanted to come back, it wasn't good enough for me. And so nothing was good enough for me. So nothing was recorded good enough. None of the quality that I wanted was in anything. And so the result I got, of course, was no show at all. And that wasn't very fun. And it was actually when I did this book again that, again, just shifted everything for me. I got to read all the chapters in this book about releasing judgment. And I just stopped. I don't know. I just woke up, and it was like the energy of the show said, just create it. And then it was really hard because I couldn't define it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I couldn't define it because it didn't want to be defined. It wanted me to interview crazy different fun people from all over the world. I'm already I think I'm in 6 countries in the first week.
I just want to point out that we have like pink and blue and purple, and the color scheme is so cool.
Oh my gosh, we're like perfect, and we're not. Yeah. And what country are you in, Shefali?
I'm in Canada at the moment.
And then Jessi, you're in California too?
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and I'm near San Francisco. So when I looked at the energy of the show, if I waited to be able to control it, I basically would have been stuck not creating it. And you could argue that that was good because it wasn't perfect enough yet, or it wasn't funded yet, or it wasn't enough commercials yet, or it didn't have like all the subtitles I'd like to have yet, or the branding I'd like to have yet. But the funniest thing was I did get a logo done, and the logo guy did it in like, I swear to gosh, it took him less than 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the show saying to itself, be born. And even though it's not perfect yet, or, you know, doesn't have the standards that like I've been asking it to have. And I think when she talked about control freaking, oh my gosh, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and again, I think you guys know I make books, and I'm really pretty freaky about that. Like, every single font needs to be beautiful, and every single design element needs to be beautiful, and the covers need to be stunning, which I'm very blessed to have stunning people in my books. So I'm into this perfection in the books that couldn't carry itself into the new modalities. And you're talking about, like, when I get new ideas and I get new ideas for creations, when do I say no? Like, can I keep saying yes? Can I keep saying yes? And that really triggered me. That was a big trigger for me, because I had, in the saying of yes, was letting in these new modalities that basically weren't, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's about saying yes to the energy that wants to come in, and then seeing how it wants to develop itself, how it wants to emerge, right? So it's about being in constant communion or communication with that energy for those different projects or ideas or modalities that want to come through when they are being nurtured, right? So we do have to spend a little bit of time each day asking it, okay, do you want to do something today? Do you want, like, don't just forget about it and put it in the back burner, you know, work with it, talk to it, you know, ask the energy, do you want to do something today, right?
Especially if you want change in your life. So
oh
if
my
you're
goodness.
asking for change,
Yeah.
and then an idea shows up and it says that you need to start a new business. And Jessi, actually, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your natural oils? Why don't you tell us, do you want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. I have one of my many companies and projects. I have a company called Born Diva Body, and I make these organic body scrubs that are super great for your skin, with essential oils and coconut oil and sugar and pink Himalayan sea salt. And I have one that's coffee and raw cacao powder, because I was born with eczema, so I could never use commercial products on my skin. And like, all the people I went to school with were like, oh my God, how come you look so young? I'm like, I know.
I know, you do. You look about 21, but that's okay.
I will cop to that for the rest of my life.
Nice.
So I just, chose to go ahead and give birth to it, and it's doing pretty good. It's not in every Sephora across the world quite yet, and of course, as an ambitious person, that's like where we'd love to see it, but it's doing pretty well. And I developed one that uses magnesium oil that helps people with anxiety, because I went through a period of really ill, and not knowing that the anxiety I was feeling is because my body was deficient in magnesium. And then once I found that out, I started making magnesium oil, and it's like, oh, okay, body, you really, really like this stuff. So I made it into a body scrub, and it's really the first of its kind to ever be put into a body scrub. So I'm really kind of excited about it.
That is exciting. And that's a great point, asking your body what it requires, right? What it needs, and talking to your body. And this is with everything, with food, with, like whatever you eat, what you wear.
Craving for sweet potatoes and plantains and avocado. And those three things were highest in magnesium, come to find out.
There you go. So very intuitive.
I try to be. I have my moments.
Well, I'll include some links on the show, so you can contact Shefali. Shefali, tell us your website.
ShefaliBurns.com. Pretty easy.
And then Jessi, which website would you like to share, hon?
The Born Diva. It's borndivabody.com.
Nice. I love it. I want to thank you both for coming and sharing and letting us just explore this topic. I think there's just so much room here for people to be in expansion right now, and to just let go of whatever stuff isn't theirs that's stopping them. And maybe just if each of you want to share, Jessi, why don't you go first? Just any last thoughts you have for our listeners?
Why did I have to go first? I have so many thoughts. So many. I think that what comes to mind immediately when you ask is just letting go of the idea that poverty is real. For me, that's huge, because I think that we've made it so real in our society, and that you only have those two choices, wealthy and poverty. And that when you make the poverty so much more real than the possibility of you having wealth, it's why your world feels the way it does, so constricted and so tight. So I would just get rid of that idea, altogether. I mean, it's going to be a challenge, don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
All this forced down our throat.
Yeah. Yeah. Shefali, what about you, hon?
Well, I'm going to say, I'm going to go the other way. So many people are in poverty consciousness, right? And you know what? We can choose not to be. So just because everybody else is, doesn't mean I have to be. So I'm going to choose what feels good and right and expansive for me. So I enjoy having money. I enjoy being able to travel. I enjoy being able to buy crystals and whatever else that is, right? So it's like, what do you want to experience? Do you want to experience the wealth and the money and the ease? Then choose that, right? And ask yourself, what would it take for me to have more of that? So it's about asking those types of questions. What would it take for me to have more of that? What would it take for me to have more fun, more joy, more magic, more ease in my life?
Thank you so much. Thanks
Thank
all
you
for coming. See you next time.